Happy New Year, guys. It's 2020. I hope you're excited about this year because, well, it's a pretty good number, 2020. It looks good. Let's make it good. And I just wanted to do a quick YouTube video because I think the lessons I learned in 2019 are going to be useful for you when you go into this year. And I had this request from you guys from my Instagram. I often put a survey up to say, what would you like me to do a YouTube video on? And many of you said, you know, the lessons you've learned over the last year. So here you go. I've put it down to six different points that I've written down, and I'm going to talk about them because I think they're going to be very useful. By the way, look at where I am. I love my home in the south of France. If you guys ever get a chance to come here, you should, because it's beautiful, incredible. Nowhere else can you get mountains and sea and just beautiful life. So anyway, going into the points in a minute. The first thing I learned was that things don't always go completely to plan. Now, that's not meaning that you won't hit your goals or that if you do the goal setting process perfect, that it won't work. It will work. But you know, when you are so set in doing things a certain way, let's say you have a set procedure every month, or it's like a structure in your business that you do every month or every week, and then suddenly it's like, boom, it changes because you have different dynamics come along. That's okay. So my lesson I learned a lot from 2019, and to be fair, forever, and it's just such a valid lesson, is you must be good at reacting with change. You must be able to adapt to change. You must be able to just like not be set in your ways, be malleable, be like water, as they say, the philosophy from the Tao, and like, you know, Bruce Lee is where I initially got this philosophy from when I was into martial arts, like massively. It's like, be like water, like adapt to the situations. You will still get to your goal, but don't be set in your ways, and don't get disappointed if things are not exactly how you vision them perfectly, like every step, but it's still going to get you to your bigger picture. But just adapt, move things around, and don't take any offense. Second thing I can tell you guys is, now usually you're going to have some sort of competition in your industry. Whatever industry you're in, there's always going to be somebody else doing the same thing or similar, and you're going to compare yourself to people. Now, please don't compare. Now, I've been quite famous for never looking at other competition, and some people, even the people I used to work with, used to be completely amazed and think, why don't you look at the competition? Don't you know what so-and-so is doing? And I'll be like, very honestly, no, because I don't waste time and energy looking at competition, or you know, just waste. Yeah, it's just a waste of time. Can you imagine how much energy that takes up? If you could just put that energy into what you're doing. The key is to be original. You have to be yourself, and that doesn't mean you're competing with anyone. You just have to be the best version of yourself. Your company's got to be the best version of yourself. All the businesses you do, all the efforts you put in, just stop comparing yourself. Give yourself high standards. Yes, 100%. Give yourself very high standards, but do not make other companies or other people or other things put you in a position where you feel belittled. That is a major problem with looking at competition, and I think it's just a waste of energy. So my second lesson for you guys is, stop looking at other people. Stop trying to recreate what other people are doing. Like, you know, fuck them. Like, the only way you're going to stand out is by being you, by being original, and you cannot get original thought by looking at other people, because subconsciously you're going to just want to repeat stuff. So just, you know, be authentic, have a bit of faith in yourself, and you will get there. Have you heard of the saying, hard work won't kill you, but stress will? Now, that is so completely true, because if there's one thing that I've really had to work on the hardest throughout my life is stress management. It's not the work, it's not the big goals, it's not the ambitious whatever, because that's just part of who I am. I will always want to do something incredibly like big and out there, and I want you guys to do that too. So, you know, don't be afraid to think big, but what will really be the factor that defines whether you make it or not is, can you handle the pressure? Can you handle the stress? And if you haven't got a mechanism or a strategy or a procedure or like a routine, is what I would call it, to deal with stress on a regular basis, then you will find that it will just burn you out. You will feel completely like demotivated, depressed, and you will give up. So if you want to make your 2020 the best year yet, make sure you deal with your stress really, really well. Now that could be whatever makes you feel like having really strict rules about when you're not going to be working, i.e. there is a time when you should not be looking at your phone. There should be a time when you're not doing emails and you're not talking about money and work. There should be a time when you should be creative and thinking of stuff that's original, and you should be spending time on your own every single day at some point, and you should be reading, or you should be learning, or you should be watching YouTube videos like this. You should need to get consistent inspiration. You need to be watching what you put in, all that stuff you put in from social media, YouTube videos. By the way, this stuff is good, but just like the other nonsense that you may be doing, you may want to just think, when can I have that taken out of my life, or should I have it in there at all? Or maybe I can put a period of my life where I can have the trash, and then there's a period in my day and my life where I just keep it very high end, because that's going to be the game changer as to whether you can deal with the stress. I mean, that's the easy stuff. That's stuff you can implement right now. You can really implement it. The other harder stuff is the people you hang around with, the friends, the family, who is around you, who's sabotaging your progress, and what are the habits you get up to on a general basis? What are your daily routines? I mean, the commute to work may be something really demotivating. You have to put all of these, you've got to look at so many factors in your life that will either inspire you and raise your energy levels, or they're going to demotivate you. They're going to just drop your energy levels. They're going to suck that energy out of you. So you've got to be aware. So be super aware of what's causing that stress build up. Write down stuff, like write a journal. I am someone who's famous for writing journals. I've always got a journal with me. I never go to a meeting, or I'm never traveling, or I'm never without a journal at least 20 seconds away from me, so make sure you have a journal, write things down. Don't just think about it, because when you think about too much stuff, you will go crazy. So just look after your mental health. It's so, so important. Now look at that face. I just thought I'd have to put him in this video because he's like the cutest thing in the world. And that's what keeps my day super happy. When I've got a little boy like this just helping me along in life and just giving me the oxytocin levels, that is a beauty. So anyway, my next point is, let me just find it because it's in my book. People will disappoint you. Wow, surprise, surprise. Okay, so why is this something I want to mention? Well, it's kind of obvious. People are, this is a sensitive topic for most people to understand. You will have people you work with, you will have people that you are around. Now, if you do anything like me, I have so many employees, I have so many joint venture business partners, or just business partners. I have people that I really look at fondly. I really enjoy working with them. I really enjoy their company. I really think, yes, can't wait to do this business venture with you. I have students, you guys are amazing. I love, and I really get inspired with your energy, and I love doing what I do because I love Fortune Academy. It's it's the legacy builder for me. It's the stuff that I know that when I die, I'll be happy because I've got Fortune Academy. I've got people out there that are using my advice, are using my help, and I'm helping you guys in some way or the form. And that's like the most valuable thing to me. There's nothing else in the world that I would replace this for, because it's the most fulfilling business in the world, the most fulfilling task, the most fulfilling project I've ever done in my life. Now, saying that, even my students, the people I love so much, they will disappoint me. Your friends will disappoint you. And that's the horrible thing about life, unfortunately. And why do they do that? Is it a reflection of what you've done to them, or a reflection of what's happened? Now, it could be a variation of things. It could be something that there's a misunderstanding, or there's a expectation not met, or whatever, and people can fall out with you. But sometimes they can be more unreasonable than you actually ever anticipated, and that's where it gets painful. I've had best friends try and sue me over money because they're jealous over the fact that, oh yeah, in the same project I got X amount, a smaller amount, you got more, for what reason? And they get really jealous, and it was no agreement in the first place. There was nothing in there that said they would get X, Y, Z, and I would get this. And I'm not sure if this comes with being different, or if it's because you're successful and maybe they're struggling. But usually when I look back at what these scenarios have been, it's very often been that there was a sense of jealousy there, or because you are like trooping forward and you're like just hitting and smashing every single goal and doing so well in your personal, in your physical, in your mental, in your financial life, that some people will not like it. And even your friends that are close to you, maybe family, you know, it can get ugly. So just be careful of not avoiding this, because it's very hard to avoid at times because it can just happen, but just to get disappointed, because this is a lesson that I think you all need to have once in your life at least, and it will repeat itself, unfortunately. But once you learn about it, or you learn about how to deal with this, then I think you will be equipped for life in a very mature way. You'll be able to reach heights that you've never reached before in terms of success, because this is a tough thing to deal with. Most people stop. They don't want to have their friends not talk to them, or people feel envious of them or whatever, and it gets horrible, and they feel sad, they feel lonely that they haven't got that friend around them. But my message to you is, try and learn unconditional love. Like, this is going to be the hardest thing in the world initially, but it's the most powerful thing you could ever do. And unconditional love is being obviously able to still like them, care for them, and effectively forgiving them from distance. You don't ever have to speak to them again if you feel like it's too toxic to go back there, or if they're not. Some people will never learn, and they'll forever want to be vindictive and come at you for whatever reason. It could be your friends, family, student, you know, I've had that with so many different variables. But learning to be unconditional in the process is going to be your best lesson in the world, where you can just allow them to be themselves. You have elevated yourself to a new level. You are no longer in there, you know, if someone makes you feel, if you ever hear yourself saying they're making me feel good, or they're making me feel bad or upset or whatever, that's because you're allowing it. Now, that word making me feel, or that phrase making me feel, is exactly what's going on there. So learn unconditional love. And a little extra tip for you guys: when there is money on the table, it changes things. Like, you need to be careful who you call friends. Like, I often have business partners which I think, oh my god, we are so going to get on, like, so much, and for a while everything gets on so well, but then there is always a dynamic that if the other person doesn't grow, or maybe they don't make enough money in the process and I make more money than them. That's what I've normally had in 2019. Like, we've started a venture. The deal was very clear at the beginning that this is what happens, this is how much money we put in, this is how much money I take, and this is how much money you take. They get greedy. They want to move the goalposts because they will see you making more money, or you getting more benefit potentially, or vice versa. But if that happens, you need to figure out how to deal with it. So my message would be careful who you call friends. When it's money involved, they're not your friends, they're acquaintances. So you maybe don't have that many friends. You may have to just get to grips with that idea that when there's money on the table, there's always a reason for things to go crazy. People get jealous. So deal with that in a very clever way. Just don't get emotionally too involved in the process. You have to keep people at arm's length a little bit, and but be unconditional. Like, enjoy the process, be good to them. You can only control your actions, and that is be 100%. Give 100% from your side. Whatever they do or don't do is something you can't always control. Remember that. But if things go sour, which in business and when there's a lot of money involved can often happen, then don't be surprised. Don't cry about it. You know, like, you're in the big leagues now. If you want to make big money, you've got to deal with this shit, because if you can't deal with it, you're not designed to make it to the top. Last point for this video is work on your best relationships. Now, the best relationship is, of course, the one with yourself. The one with you versus your mental health is your biggest and most important relationship. Look after that. Now, the second one is the person closest to you, and they come before family, i.e. mom, dad, siblings. Your intimate partner, pick wisely, and be careful when you call them a proper partner. Like, if it's just a fling, or if you're just dating, like, you know what? Understand that dynamic. It's not the same as someone you're married to, or if you've been together for a long time. If you're living together, that's more significant in my eyes. I'm very cutthroat with people and their relationship statuses. Like, if you say you're in a really good relationship, but then you don't see each other for like weeks and months, and you don't live together, it's still, for me, a very childish thing. So why am I telling you this? Because I mentor my students on a very high level, and I look at their relationship status when it comes to them trading, I need to know what the hell is going on in their heads. And obviously it applies to me too. I'm in a relationship, I'm married, I'm living with George, and we've been living together for almost 4 years. Now that is a big thing, and that is how you know if you can get on or not get on. If you're not living with someone, you don't know yet, you know. So if you haven't got, you don't need a family, although that adds certain dynamics that you may not want. My point is simply nurture the relationships that are most valuable and be careful. Like, you cannot give 100% to everyone. You need to pick who you give 100% to and do it well. Like, I mean 100%, not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna disregard you and just concentrate more on my friends, or like people that the opinions of people I don't really care about, but they make me feel good about myself. I need the validation. Work on those relationships, because I guarantee if your relationship is strong, the one that's closest to home, and that could be just yourself or just your housemate, or maybe you live on your own and it's just yourself, which is great. But then if you're gonna be picking the people you pick to be around you, the next closest person, be careful about that relationship. I look after it, protect it, nurture it, so that it does not allow itself to sabotage you and your progress. And that's the best advice I can give you. So that's it. That's my 2019 look back, and like the points and the things that I will take, the learning points that I will take into 2020. And I really think that you should too as well, because it's so powerful. All of those learning points are good enough to keep you going year upon year upon year. And don't forget them, because life will carry on teaching you lessons until you learn. So I hope you learn now, so you don't have to keep going through any kind of problems that you just don't want to keep repeating in 2020. So I love your questions. I love your comments. Get them down below. And remember, if you want to work with me, if you need my mentorship, if you need my help in anything in life and business, in just making money and just being happier, healthier, and just understanding life and you better, that's exactly what I do. That's why I love Fortune Academy. Fortune Academy is my most favorite business. It's one of many, and it's where I can help you figure out your financial and your personal life, like I said. And it's done through the Millionaire Mindset program or the Forex Trading programs, both of which are amazing, and I am so excited. Click on the link below to make sure you know what events are happening, where, and how to join, etc. There are some free webinars as well on that link, so don't miss out. In the meantime, have an amazing day. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, and make sure you ring the bell, because every time I put a new YouTube video out, which I will be doing this year, I promise I'm going to be more active. So I don't want you to miss out. I want you to have your healthy dose of motivation, inspiration, and I will be publishing videos every week. So stay tuned, ring the bell, and you will hear from me soon. Bye.